Father in heaven, we want to thank you for this accomplishment that we, the graduating class of 1987, have achieved. The struggles have been many, but with your help we have overcome and are able to enjoy the results. We ask your blessings on the people who will participate in this program this evening. We especially pray for us as seniors that you will prepare the way before us. Help us when we stumble. Encourage our hearts when we are discouraged, and give us wisdom as we make decisions that will affect the rest of our lives. We pray these things in the name of our Lord, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Superintendent Mitter, Principal Martin, School Board, teachers, parents, friends, and graduates. On behalf of the class of 1987, I would like to welcome you all here to the commencement activities here tonight. Before I turn the time over to the rest of the program, I would like to say a few words to my classmates and to all of you out there. As I look at this class and look at the accomplishments that they've made, it reminds me of a movie that I once saw in which this person had so many problems and had, not really problems, I guess, a lot of obstacles to overcome in their lives. And they overcame these obstacles and he became a strong individual. And that's the way I look at my class. We've stumbled and we've been through some pretty hard times, but we've always picked ourselves back up, not as individuals, but as a class. We've grown strong together and we have been successful. I'd like to tell each and every person in this class how much I love them and how much I appreciate all the support that they've given me. They have truly been a good example to me, and I'm sure they've been a good example to you out there as parents. You as parents out there and as friends should be should be recognized also for the great job in which you have done. You have played a special role in them being up here tonight, and I'm sure they're very grateful to you also. We also have some wonderful people behind us here, the school board, who has made it possible for us to be able to come to school, and also for our teachers, who have made it possible for us to be able to learn and to be here tonight. And I would personally like to thank them for the time, the effort, and all the wonderful things that they have given to us, especially our principal this year and our vice principal, Mr. Martin and Mr. Leonard. We'd like to say thank you, and we appreciate everything that you've done for us. And I would like to welcome you all here tonight, and hopefully the rest of the program will be enjoyable to you. We'd like to thank you for coming. And at this time, we'd like to ask a sort of a surprise. If Mrs. Allred is out there, we would like to ask her if she would come up here and say a few words for us tonight. If she is, would she please come forward?
You talk about a total shock. But let me say this. This class has done this to me for how many years now? A long time. When Trina said she loved this class and she talked about them pulling together, I wish I could really tell you what this class is like. I have never, ever, in all the years I've taught, had a group of students like this class. They have done so many things for me personally. I came over, 2 days ago? Was it yesterday? And spoke to them, which was very emotional for me. I don't know what to say to you other than I love you. As I told you yesterday, you've climbed your first mountain. And there'll be many more to climb, but there'll also be valleys. Remember, as I told you yesterday, you'll never walk alone. You're loved. You need to keep that in mind. And I give each and every one of you my gift of love, because I love you so much.
Superintendent Metter, Mr. Martin, members of the board, faculty, family, friends, and graduates. As I pondered on what I should speak about tonight, I drifted back through my memory banks and landed in my elementary school years. I can still remember my first day of kindergarten, when my mother walked me into my brand new classroom, and I had to leave her side. I remember looking into the strange faces of other children and into the gentle face of Mr. Leonard. I then realized that I had to make a change. I could no longer stay at home with Mommy. Now that I was a big girl, I had to go to school. I adapted to this idea, and soon I was old enough to serve lunch in the cafeteria. I had become a 5th grader. We got to sing songs out on the lawn and prepare skits to perform for the younger kids. I'll never forget Jason Perriott when he's dressed up like the lead singer from the rock group Kiss and let's sing songs for the 3rd graders. The girls all fell in love, and Jason was a hit. But even this had to change. Jason put up his Kiss suit and moved on. The following year, we entered middle school. Oh, I'd heard stories about that place. I got so sick on the first day of school, and I never thought I could get along without recess. But I survived. Not only did we have to adjust to our environment, but our bodies began to change. How many of you had to adjust to braces? And I think we all had the terrifying discovery of pimples. Before we knew it, we were graduating from middle school. We said our cheery goodbyes to our friends and teachers and moved on. Now, adapting from being an 8th grader to a freshman is a very interesting task. We went from being the top dogs of middle school to the peons of the high school. High school brought about many changes that required responsibility, maturity, and school spirit. The senior class of 1987 has adapted to these changes, and now we must accept the biggest change of all, the transition from high school to life itself. Many will be going off to college. They must adapt to new environments, independence, a new type of schooling, and different people. Some will go directly into the workforce, where they'll have to accept more responsibility and change spending habits. The money they pocket will have to be carefully thought over, instead of automatically going towards getting a Coke with friends and taking in a movie. Others yet may have marriage plans. This is a dramatic change itself, demanding responsibility, independence from parents, and perhaps a new environment there. It is not a matter of choice. No matter where we go after tonight, we have to face changes. The homeless on the streets, alcoholics, and drug users weren't willing to face the changes in their lives. Toward the end of the Ice Age, the mammoth wasn't willing to adapt. The climate grew warmer, yet the mammoth didn't shed its heavy coat of hair. As a result, it died of heat stroke, causing an entire species to become extinct. The mammoth couldn't adapt to the environment, and therefore didn't survive. If we want to survive, we have to accept this new change in our lives. This is our challenge, to be able to adapt. If we don't overcome the obstacles that get in our path, then we only make life harder for ourselves, and perhaps destroy our very goals and dreams. Anatole France once stated, "All changes, even the most longed for, have their melancholy, for what we leave behind us is a part of ourselves. We must die to one life before we can enter into another." Tonight, the realization of our changing lives arouses many emotions within us. Some are happy because they're finally getting out of Moab. They have already adapted and are ready to move on. I like this wind. This is fun. However, others have lingering emotions. It isn't easy leaving close friends, and it's downright terrifying trying to make decisions that will affect our lives and our future outcome. The only thing that has kept me sane through the changes in my life has been the support of others, my parents, family, friends, teachers, and God. They have helped me to adapt and realize the importance of change. Yes, I made it through elementary school, adapted to middle school, and as you see, I've even survived high school. It is now time to put our past behind us. As Walter Lippmann stated, life is an irreversible process, and for that reason, its future can never be a repetition of the past. We cannot live in high school forever. It's time to end this life and enter into another. Our memories, however, will never die. Graduates, think back to some of the changes in your life.
For example, Vicki Peterson. What adjustments did you have to make when you received your nickname, Witchy Poo, from Mr. Stud himself, Dougie Davis, in elementary school? We must remember our memories and the ways in which we've coped, for they will serve as stepping stones and lead us along the pathway of our new lives. Graduates, accept the challenge, for if we don't adapt to what we will soon face, then everything we've worked for up to this point will be lost and virtually useless. Don't become like the mammoth, who wouldn't change. Good luck.
Everybody, be thankful for what we've got. We have the freedom that all the countries have not. We live in America, the home of the free. So come on and speak your mind in complete liberty. Yes, we're free. Years ago, our fathers built this land. They came on the Mayflower looking for a place to stand. They wanted a home where the children's children could be free. They wanted a place where they had complete religious liberty. And now we're free. Yeah, yes, we're free.
Superintendent Metter, members of the board, Principal Tatton, faculty, classmates, family, friends, and neighbors. I feel privileged and yet really nervous to stand before you tonight as valedictorian of the graduating class of 1987. I fully share the wisdom expressed in Jim Engelbright's baccalaureate address that we as graduating seniors owe our parents and teachers a tremendous expression of gratitude and appreciation for their unselfish contribution to our growth and development into young adults. I would also like to take this opportunity to publicly express my love and appreciation to my parents for their unwavering moral support and love throughout my life. Our class motto states, as one road ends, another begins. As we graduate tonight, we feel that we have arrived at the end of our first road, an ending to our high school life, an ending to living under the guidance and nurturing of our parents, and perhaps even an ending to the contact we have had with many of our closest and dearest friends. some, this type of ending brings sadness and sorrow. However, we are starting a new beginning at the end of this road. We must look to the future. Let our sadness go. Remember with fondness all the exciting good times of the past years, the close friends made, and the enrichment of our knowledge through our study and exposure to the developments of life. We must not dwell on the past. We must use this energy that has carried us to this exciting point in our life to propel us into and throughout our future. Prior to this point in our lives, regardless of our acknowledgement, we have been heavily dependent upon the close guidance of our parents and teachers. In this way, they were preparing us for this day, the day when we start independently making our own decisions on what we really want to do with our lives, and how much energy and sacrifice we're willing to devote towards these goals. Let's briefly examine what some high school graduates have done with their lives. Every day, we hear and see examples of people throughout our society who have become criminals, vagrants, or people who have just done nothing with their lives. Many times, the stories of these people were positive up to the day they graduated. Have these men and women fully and wisely used their talents following graduation? With few exceptions, a vast majority of these individuals chose to sit back and wait for life to hand them a golden platter. They have not been willing to use their God-given talents and wisdom to better themselves and mankind. For the most part, these people will continue to just exist throughout the rest of their lives. Now let's take a look at a couple of people who chose to explore what was down the other roads. How did Krista McCullough, the teacher, arrive at the point where she was chosen to ride the Challenger in space? Or, all of you remember Dr. Barney Clark, who gave his life to advance medical history. This could not have been possible without the dedication and hard work of Dr. Jarvik on the artificial heart. What did these three people have in common? They early in life had a dream and set a course to follow. It has been said that everyone must set his own course and take the rough seas with the calm. This was no exception for these individuals. They met many difficult situations that challenged their wisdom and talents. But through hard work and dedication, they achieved their goals. Each of us, through proper charter of our energies down worthy paths, can contribute something to the welfare of mankind. Maybe our accomplishments will not be on par with Christy McCullough or Dr. Jarvik. On the other hand, who knows? We may far surpass these individuals. All we need to do is try. We have nothing to lose and all to gain. As a famous philosopher once said, the unforgivable sin is not to become all that you can as a human being, given the circumstances of life that we have to accept. Tonight, in closing, I would like to extend the challenge to each one of the seniors sitting before us tonight, not to think of graduation as an ending, but to use it as a beginning to the successful achievement of our dreams and goals. I wish you all the best of luck.
Let the mountains soar, let the stars fall.
just a glance, and sow the seeds of universal peace. I am nothing.
I am nothing without love, without love, without love. Should I change the course of rivers and bring rain to desert lands, and have unending knowledge to release? I am nothing
Without love,
I am nothing without love. Let the oceans roar, let the mountains soar, let the stars fall from the heavens up above.
let the children cry, let the rivers run dry, but don't let the day
Begin without love. Let the oceans roar, let the mountains soar, let the stars fall from the heavens up above. Let the children cry, let the rivers run dry, but don't let the day begin without love.
Don't let the day begin without love.
Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you our keynote speaker for this evening. Born in San Francisco, then moving to Granger, Utah, where he graduated, KSL TV anchor Bruce Lindsay has been in mass communication field since 1974. A magna cum laude graduate of Brigham Young's University in Communications Department, Lindsay began his career as a reporter for KORK TV in Las Vegas. From 1974 through 1977, he worked as a reporter for KSL TV. In 1977, he then accepted a reporter weekend anchor position with Los Angeles KABC TV. 1 year later, he returned back to Salt Lake as one of KSL's TV anchors. Since 1982, Lindsay has also been the host of Channel 5's news information magazine, Prime Time Access. Lindsay has been the recipient of numerous first-place awards from the Sigma Delta Chi, the Society of Professional Journalists, and in 1981 was honored with an Emmy for his live news coverage of the 1980 Democratic National Convention. In 1984, Lindsay completed his MBA degree from the University of Utah. He is married to Sherry Anderson of Salt Lake City, and they have 4 children. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you a keynote speaker among speakers, Mr. Bruce Lindsay.
My research finds that a number of years ago, you had a graduation speaker here representing the school board. Now, no offense to Mr. Earhart or any of his colleagues back here from the school board, but you know how those people are. This was a gentleman with a powerful voice and seemingly endless wind. There is not a letter in grand, he said, that does not tell its own tale of wonderment and glory. G, for instance, stands for greatness. And then for about a half hour, he went on and told all the areas in which Grand County High School had demonstrated its greatness in tones of ecstasy. And then with scarcely a pause for breath, he went on, R is for renown. And when I think how far the renown of this school's greatness has spread, words nearly fail me, except that words didn't fail him for another half hour of strenuous oration. Well, he was just getting into the third half-hour portion of his speech, devoting it to A for achievement, when one suffering graduate about back there on the third row gave his neighbor the elbow and said, well, we can thank heaven this isn't the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm pleased to be here with you to honor the graduating class of Grand County High School in 1987. On the basis of what I've seen in the last half hour, I like you guys. I'm proud of you. I work in the news business. News is only relevant unless you care about it. The big news tonight that you care about is that school's over. This is it. This is the only thing you're going to remember today. So don't bother watching the news. And I don't kid myself that you're going to bother remembering anything I say either. What you will remember are the feelings, the nostalgia that goes with the final days of school. Those profound and sometimes not so profound notes that you scribble to each other in your Mogranda yearbooks. The hallways filled with your lifelong friends. You'll remember cheering for men like Mitch Johnson on the football and the baseball team this year. You'll remember your winning women's volleyball team going all the way to state. You'll remember, no doubt, the great comeback and determination of James Breidenbaker, who is graduating here tonight. If you manage to learn them, you probably won't forget the words to the school song. I know them. Red and white will loyal ever be, red and white our hearts and souls to thee. These are great memories for the class of '87. More than you now realize, you'll even remember some of the things that you learned here. Some basic academic skills that will serve you throughout your life. Even J.P. Lincoln's going to remember something that he learned. Of course, I understand he's missed a few things from the times he was dozing off. There was the time that Mr. Mon caught J.P. sleeping in the English class, and he asked somebody to wake him up. And in unison, the whole class said, "You put him to sleep, you wake him up." I didn't know it was true. We hope Mr. Mon gets a chance to catch up on his rest as much as he's retiring this year. Now, I don't mean to pick on J.P. or Mr. Mon. It's just that J.P., along with Monique Visser, holds to the Mark Twain philosophy, which says, don't let school ever interfere with your education. And they haven't. Well, graduation night. The theme tonight is real. This is where one road ends and another road begins. And it's hard to believe, but let me make a prediction. This is a certainty, that after tonight, never again will the 82 of you all be together in one place at one time. A lot is going to happen to each of you in the next 5 or 10 years. And I don't have any foolproof formula for making it an easy adjustment. You're going to have to settle tonight for a few general suggestions that experience tells me may be worthwhile. Here's one, and someone's alluded to it already. Always live in the here and now. If the present isn't the best time of your life, maybe you're not living it too well. The French philosopher Pascal wrote this. He said, we think too little of the time present. We anticipate the future with a view to hasten it onward. We recall the past to stay it as too swiftly gone. We are so thoughtless that we thus wander through these hours which are not here, regardless only of that moment that is actually our own. Well, high school for most of you has been a great experience. But realize that after tonight, you can never come back. You can't ever come back to the way things were, the way things have been. I hope you'll make this first year out of high school the best year yet, the most fun, the most challenging, the most rewarding of all. My second suggestion is that as you go out now to evaluate the world and its people, don't always make judgments based upon first impressions. Either success nor failure is ever really final. I saw a good example of that this afternoon when I pulled in for lunch at the taco vendor. I sat down opposite this truck driver who was working on his enchilada supreme. And he was about halfway through it, and 6 bikers came in off the highway. They looked kind of like the Hells Angels or something. And I have no idea what went on between the bikers and this trucker out on the highway. But the biggest one came up to him, grabbed him by the back of the neck, and pushed his face down around that enchilada supreme. And the trucker kind of quietly wiped his face and slowly slid up out of the chair and went out the door. They were inside, not out in front there. And walked away, best I could tell. Well, the 6 bikers sat down, and after the waitress seemed composed enough to take any more orders, she started taking their orders. One of the bikers said, "Boy, he wasn't much of a fighter." She said, "No, and he's not much of a truck driver either. He just hacked over 6 motorcycles." So remember 2 things. Don't always judge on first impressions. Never let truth stand in the way of a good story. Now, along these lines of not making snap judgments, I'd like to share something that Alan Alda said. Now, this has a very loose connection to Grant County High School's class of '87 because one of your school plays was MASH. Alan Alda is the star of the MASH reruns on Channel 5. Alda said this as a speaker for the graduation of his own daughter. He said, "It's a complex world. I hope you'll learn to make distinctions. A peach is not its fuzz. A toad is not its warts. A person is not his or her crankiness. If we can make decisions, rather distinctions, if we can make distinctions, we can be tolerant, and we can get to the heart of our problems instead of wrestling endlessly with their gross exteriors. Once you make a habit of making distinctions, you'll begin challenging your own assumptions. Your assumptions are your windows on the world. Scrub them off every once in a while, or the light won't come in. If you challenge your own assumptions, you won't be so quick to accept the unchallenged assumptions of others. You'll be a lot less likely to be caught up in bias or prejudice, or be influenced by people who ask you to hand over your brains, or your soul, or your money because they have everything figured out for you. Be as smart as you can, but remember it's always better to be wise than to be smart. And don't be upset that it takes a long, long time to find wisdom. Like a rare virus, wisdom tends to break out at unexpected times. And it's mostly people with compassion and understanding who are susceptible to it. That was Alan Alda. My third suggestion is that you decide that you're never going to stop learning and growing. I understand that a large number of you are going away this fall for further education. That's terrific. Some are going to technical school, some going to college, to junior college. Some of you are planning to go to work in careers right now. Doesn't really matter which it is, as long as you've thought it through and it's the right thing for you. But please don't ever feel that because you pick up a diploma here tonight, that studying days are behind you. The wisest minds always have more things to learn. And just as Monique hasn't let school interfere with her education, I hope that those of you who won't be spending any more time in the classroom won't let anything interfere with the education that you can get from books. The man who doesn't read good books has no advantage over the man who can't read them. Mark Twain said that too. And the books that will help you the most are the books that will challenge you the most. So be willing to sacrifice a bit for more training, or at least for some good books all throughout your life. Benjamin Franklin said, if a man empties his purse into his head, no man can take it away from him. And investment in knowledge always pays the best interest. And that leads me to suggestion number 4. Don't confuse success or happiness with money. The money you earn at the end of the day is only one measure of what you've done. It probably has little or no bearing on the other satisfactions you get from your work. So go after a life's work that will be truly satisfying to you, not necessarily to your banker. Whether you wind up making a lot of money or not, have a wonderful time, and no one will be able to take that away from you. Another suggestion, remember to be an individual. You are individual, so why not live like one? During the past few years, I'm sure many of you have derived a sense of identity from being part of a group, from being part of this group. This is a good group. But school for the past 12, 13 years has been an invisible bond that's holding you together. After tonight, as this road ends, the new road forks in 82 different directions. You'll always be friends, and many of you will remain very close, but over these past years, school has been a magnet that's held you together. Now, in the absence of that common bond, beginning tomorrow, you'll soon be attracted to somewhat different pursuits. Just make allowances for the fact that your transition from rather carefree student, although it didn't feel that way sometimes, to more care-filled adult will be something you'll have to do on your own schedule, on your own terms. And as you set out to make your individual mark in life, here's a little more advice from Alan Alda. You said, be brave enough to live life creatively. The creative is the place where no one has ever been before. You can't get there by bus, only by hard work and risk, and by not quite knowing what you're doing. But what you'll discover will be wonderful. What you'll discover will be yourself. Suggestion number 6. Please be optimistic about life. You can't expect the world to look bright to you if you're looking out at the world through gray-colored glasses. Helen Keller said, keep your face to the sunshine and you won't see the shadow. Or as my friend Bob Weldy says, partly cloudy is really mostly sunny. Life holds some pretty tough knocks for all of us. Some of them show, some of them don't show in public quite so much. But we don't have to let them get us down. It costs no more to smile than it does to frown, and in just a very few years you're going to appreciate the fact that smiling leaves fewer wrinkles. You can't call all the plays in life, but I think you can decide to be just about as happy as you make up your mind to. So cheer up, you guys, and be optimistic. This is a great time. Now, for those of you starting to fall asleep, this lady back here on the 3rd row, we're into the home stretch. Suggestion number 7. It's not too late to have a quiz on these, you know. You don't have the diplomas yet. Don't follow blindly, but I hope you'll listen to people who do know. Now, I may get thrown out for saying this, but a few people who still may be worth listening to might be Mom and Dad. There are things they know that you still have to learn. And there are mothers and fathers in the audience tonight who know that behind the ritual of this graduation ceremony, and you're all uncomfortable up here in your caps and gowns and hoping the wind doesn't blow them off and don't quite know what to make of this, your parents know that behind this ritual is an experience that is more profound than all the wisdom in all the books in your library. I'm speaking of mothers and fathers who know and feel what graduates cannot yet know. They know what it is to watch a child grow and become an adult. They know how much pride one human being can take in the accomplishments of another. They know the secret fear of failure and the equally secret thrill of witnessing success. They know that graduation is indeed for you a commencement. Let me read a few words from someone who's a lot wiser than I am, a clergyman who once delivered an address entitled, "If I Were 17." Some of you guys are already 18, it still applies. I would remember that if I were 17 or 18, there will never come a time when there are no more goals to reach, no more aims to achieve, or no more worlds to conquer. That there will never be a time when there is no more work to do. If I were 17, I would remember that youth, moving into the waiting future, must see the power within himself and create opportunities even as did his fathers. I would determine to be the maker of conditions and not the victim of them. And I would carve a place for myself in this world just as those who have lived in all the generations past have made their own opportunities, their own successes, and their own lives. I would try to remember to be thankful for what I have and to strive for what I have not. I would try to know the zest for work without making gain my God. I would try to know the worthwhile contributions of the past without becoming enslaved to custom or tradition. I would try to know the joy of companionship without fearing solitude. I would try to have courage in the affairs of men and women and humility before the things of God. I would never lose hope in myself, confidence in my country, or faith in the ultimate triumph of all good things. Now that's a big order he made, I know, to have all those things and to have faith besides. It's rather like the fellow who was not too smart but was trying to scale Fisher Towers up here, and he lost his grip just as he was getting near the top of the face of the pinnacle there. Started to plunge down the precipice and remarkably caught onto a branch that was protruding out from the rocks. And for the first time in his life, this climber thought about death. And he even thought about prayer. And he looked around and he thought and he mumbled a few words and he said, "Is anybody up there? Help, I really need your help." And there came a voice. It said, "I hear you." And the man said, "Well, how about getting me out of here?" And the voice said, "Well, do you have faith?" Sure, anything, just get me out of here." Then came the reply, "Let go of the branch." Well, he looked down, and he looked up, he looked down, he thought, and he looked down, and he thought some more. And then he looked up, and he said, Is there anybody else up there? Which brings me to my final suggestion, which is have faith, but hang in there. Congratulations to each of you, Grant County High School class of 1987. Good luck to you. Good night.
Seniors, are you ready? This has been a very emotional year, an outstanding one, and it is indeed a great honor and a privilege to inform the Board of Education that the class of '87, all 82 people here, have fulfilled their requirements as set forth by the local Board of Education in the state of Utah. I'd also like to do something a bit special. I'd like to have each senior that's graduating with honors stand as I call your name. James Dwight Breidenbaker. Douglas Kells Davis. Patricia M. Johnson. Annette Marie Miner. Trina Phoebe Packard. Stacy K. Peeney. Juanita S. Ray. Jenny Lynn Saunders. Paul Charles Schaefer. Deborah Taylor. Zane W. Taylor. Lynette Don Westwood. Carol Ann Yee. And Stephanie Young. Let's give all the graduates a big hand.
Linda Christina Sarton. Stephanie Young. Kelly Lee Merritt. Gladys Renee Knox. Stephanie Maxine Korn. Christy Ann DeVore. Vesta Lynn Lisenby Higgs. Deidre Stacy Trotter. Pamela Ann Olivas. Christina Eubanks. Matthew H. Merrill. Michael Wayne Greening. Robert J. Adamson. Jason Dale Perriott. Thomas Michael Lancer. James Dwight Breidenbaker. Robert Edward Contreras. Ted E. Snow. Philip Hunter Stocks. John F. Greggert. Melissa Elizabeth Plastow. Susan R. Zufeld. Cynthia K. Hopkins. Lynette Dawn Westwood. Maggie M. Cook. Cammie Diane Leach. Tricia Garcia. Mara Burrell. Carol A. Yee. Juanita Ray. Riley Hyatt. Joe Lima. Andrew D. Somerville. Glenn Robert Holyoke. Christopher Scott Allen. William Arthur Hopkins. Anthony R. Thurston. J. Lincoln. Mario Ronaldo Molina. Annette Marie Miner. Verona Monique Visser. Jacqueline Renee Looney Fenton. Patina Margaret Doles. Amy Louise Jensen. Jenny Lynn Saunders. Mary Catherine Backus. Connie Marie Hyman. Vicki Lynn Peterson. Patricia May Johnston. Trina Phoebe Packard. David Allen Mosier. Arthur Homer Seacrest Jr. Kenneth R. Powell Jr. Zane William Taylor. Kent C. Hansen. Mitchell Kent Johnson. Douglas Kells Davis. Niels Ivor Adair. Keith O. Randall. Paul Charles Schaefer. Debbie Lee Taylor. Marlo Elizabeth McDonald. Stacy K. Teeny. Barbarella Leah Hill. Rochelle Terry. Kathleen Perry. Donna Jaylene Woodruff. Tracy Taylor. Melinda Milam. Deborah K. Milner. Tamara Lynn Walker. Teresa Lee Earhart. Robert Blackner. Robert David Drake. Stephen Merrill White. Michael Allen Pierce. Jeffrey Lynn Hansen. J. Lawrence Axtell Jr. William G. Bill Swartzwelder. Christopher W. Sterry Jr.
Our Father in heaven, as we meet together for this commencement exercise for the class of 1987, we would like to express our gratitude unto Thee. Father, we are so very grateful for the many people in our lives that have helped us along the way. our teachers, our friends, relatives, and especially our parents. We are thankful for the knowledge and wisdom that they have passed on to us. We are so grateful for the friendship that we have shared and enjoyed so much as classmates, for all the good times and the trying times also, that have helped us to learn and grow so much. We are grateful for the words of wisdom and encouragement that we have heard this night, and for the people that have done so much for us. At this time, Father, as we depart and go our separate ways, we ask Thee to bless us with Thy Spirit to be with us, that we can use it as a guiding light in our lives. Bless us as we face the many decisions before us, that as this road ends, we can choose the right paths that lie ahead of us. Help us that we can turn our dreams into realities, that we can use our knowledge, experiences, and wisdom that we have gained and learned to lead good and prosperous lives, that we might be true leaders and good examples to the world. Please help us to always remember each other and our friendships. Father, please bless us this night as we are with our friends, that we'll be safe from harm or accident. Please help us to remember who we are and our responsibility to our friends and fellow men. We're thankful for those that have traveled to be here this evening. Bless them, they may reach their destination in safety also. We can express our gratitude for all that Thou hast given us, and we ask for these blessings in the name of our beloved Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Well, about that.
We're gonna head out.
Which way are we going? Sorry, I didn't get a chance.
Safe help.
Well, I don't care. Whatever way you want to go. Which way is everybody going? I guess we're going this way now. Huh?
We'll follow you.
We're going to play follow the leader.
And choose. I'll be leader. Oh no.
Oh, there you are.